In 2019, America's elite was exposed. It wasn't a bank heist. It wasn't a political scandal. It was college. Dozens of wealthy parents, CEOs, lawyers, investors, and yes, celebrities were caught bribing their kids' way into the most prestigious universities in the country. Stanford, Yale, USC, Georgetown. The name of the FBI operation? Operation Varsity Blues. This wasn't about kids working hard. This was about money manipulation and fake athletic resumes. Let's rewind. At the center of it all was one man, Rick Singer. He called himself a college counselor. But in reality, Singer was running a nationwide fraud operation. His business had two doors. The front door, students get in on merit. The back door, wealthy donors give millions for a chance at admission. But Singer? He offered a third door, the fraud door. His scheme was simple but brilliant. Fake test scores, fake athletic profiles, real bribes disguised as charitable donations. Singer funneled the money through a fake nonprofit called the Key Foundation. On paper, it looked like philanthropy. In practice, it was pure corruption. And the schools? Most of them had no idea what was happening. Because the scheme went through coaches, not admissions offices. Over 50 people were charged in the scandal, but a few names stood out. First, Lori Loughlin, the actress from Full House. Second, Felicity Huffman, star of Desperate Housewives. Both paid thousands to get their daughters into college. Lori and her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, paid $500,000 to get their daughters into USC as fake rowing recruits. Neither daughter had ever competitively rowed in their life. But Singer had connections, and he knew which coaches would play along for the right price. He photoshopped pictures, created fake bios, wrote fake athletic achievements. And it worked. Until it didn't. It started to unravel in 2018, when the FBI caught a different scammer in a separate securities fraud case. To reduce his sentence, that man gave the FBI a tip. There's a guy helping rich people cheat their kids into college. That guy was Rick Singer. The FBI flipped him. He wore a wire. He recorded phone calls with dozens of wealthy clients, incriminating them in real time. Singer's tone in the calls? Calm, casual, almost routine. Because for him, this was routine. He'd done it for years. He told one parent, "We helped the wealthiest families in the U.S. get their kids into school." It was a well-oiled machine, until the feds took a wrench to it. On March 12, 2019, federal prosecutors dropped the bombshell. 50 people charged, 33 parents, 9 coaches, 1 mastermind. The case exploded in the media. Why? Because it wasn't just about money. It was about privileged access. Two-tier justice. While millions of kids stress over grades and applications, the rich were paying for acceptance letters like they were ordering takeout. Felicity Huffman paid $15,000 to have someone cheat on her daughter's SATs. She was sentenced to 14 days in prison. She served 11. Lori Loughlin fought the charges, then took a plea deal. She got 2 months in prison. Her husband got 5 months. Meanwhile, the students, many of whom claimed ignorance, suffered fallout, too. Some were kicked out. Others lost deals, brands, reputations. But perhaps the biggest damage? Trust. The scandal didn't just expose a few bad apples. It exposed a rotten orchard. The truth is, elite college admissions have always favored the rich. Legacy admissions, private tutors, $10,000 consultants, $50,000 summer programs. What Rick Singer sold was simply a more illegal version of what already exists, a pay-to-play system disguised as meritocracy. He just made it impossible to ignore. And here's the kicker. Some of the schools involved weren't even aware, because the scheme went around them. Singer targeted coaches who could admit students as recruited athletes, even if they never played a single game. It was a loophole, and he exploited it. Rick Singer cooperated with the feds for over a year. He recorded dozens of calls, turned over documents, testified, but in the end, the court wasn't impressed. In 2023, he was sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison, the longest sentence of anyone involved. The judge called his actions a massive fraud on the American education system. Singer claimed he was sorry, but the damage was done. In the years since, colleges have tightened athletic recruitment processes. Standardized testing agencies have reviewed their protocols. And the public? They become more skeptical than ever of elite education. Netflix released a dramatized documentary called Operation Varsity Blues, further reigniting public outrage. Because at its core, this wasn't just a scandal. It was a mirror held up to a country where money buys opportunity, and the rest are told to just work harder. The college admission scandal didn't just shock America, it confirmed its suspicions that behind the Ivy League gates and glossy brochures, behind the talk of merit and fairness, the game was already rigged. Not for the poor, not for the hardworking, but for those who could afford to cheat and almost got away with it until the feds showed up with a varsity jacket of their own.